Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Dexter Collins, and this is a videographer's 5 favorite movies. I thought it would be good if we had some fun this week. Most of my videos are pretty business focused, and I thought, hey, it's the holidays, why not just talk about something that we all love, movies. And so I want to talk about as a videographer, what my 5 favorite movies are. These are not necessarily my favorite movies, the movies I would just sit down and watch over and over again just because they are so much fun. But these are the movies that, as a videographer, helped inspire me or taught me something about film. And so that's the way I'm going to approach this through that lens, pun intended. And so let's go ahead and get started. So I didn't want to rank them 1 to 5. I'm just going to do these in alphabetical order. So first on the list is In the Mood for Love. This is a movie many of you may not have seen. It's a Hong Kong film by the director Wong Kar-wai. It is one of the most beautiful, atmospheric, stylistic films that you'll ever see. It takes place in 1960s Hong Kong, and everything about this movie is gorgeous. The actors are gorgeous, the set design is gorgeous, the costumes are gorgeous, the lighting is gorgeous, the camera angles are amazing, and the title of the film really captures that this is all about the mood. And you really you watch this movie, the plot, especially the first time you see it, is a little indiscernible, but just the style and mood is so overwhelming that it's almost like you're just swimming in it. When I think about or I watch this film, for me, it's really about the aesthetic and the way that Wong Kar-wai and his cinematographer Christopher Doyle set up each one of those shots. And I know a lot of them were improvised on the spot, but just their eye for emotion and color and how that blends together to create the style of this film, that's definitely something that I aspire to in my work. You know, in a lot of the corporate videos I do, I'm not able to express myself in that way. You have to adhere to what the client wants. But if you've ever worked with me on set, you'll definitely see me taking my camera around, looking for interesting angles, shots that you may not have thought of. And sometimes those will never see the light of day, but every once in a while you kind of hit upon something that you never would have found otherwise. And so that, I think, is what I learned from In the Mood for Love. It's just that willingness to experiment and to try to incorporate something new and unseen in every piece of work I do. So the next movie on my list is Rear Window. That, of course, is by the great Alfred Hitchcock. It's maybe not one of his most famous films. You know, there's Vertigo and Psycho and a few others. But for me, Rear Window is definitely my favorite, and it's the one I keep returning to time and time again. And I think as a filmmaker, what I really love about it is the confined space, and I think that translates well to a commercial set. When you're doing a commercial shoot, it's often on location, it's on the premises of the company or the retail outlet, and so you have to do the best you can in that space. You don't have full control of that space. That's very similar to what Hitchcock was dealing with. The entire movie takes place in a single apartment. We're able to see through the window across the courtyard into the neighbor's house. It's all from the perspective of Jimmy Stewart. He's confined to a wheelchair, and so he's immobile. And that's a really good metaphor for the camera, especially at that time. And on commercial shoots, we're often constrained, whether it's by budget, by the amount of gear we're able to use, by the amount of time we have to get a shoot done. And so you really have to be creative within those constraints. And that's definitely what I think about when I watch Rear Window. Next on the list, number 3, is a movie that I couldn't possibly have left off, Star Wars. I know it's a little trite to have it on a list like this, but for me, it's the movie that started it all. It's what made me want to become a storyteller and a filmmaker. And I think what I take away from Star Wars is just the sheer inventiveness of it, how it was George Lucas and a few of his friends in a garage building sets, building props, building costumes. They just had this vision, and it didn't matter how hard they had to work. They were going to get it done. The first one wasn't a huge movie. It was really kind of a small movie by Hollywood standards, but because of their ingenuity and their hard work, they were able to make a timeless classic. And Star Wars is something that continues to inspire me today. Next on my list, number 4, is Unforgiven. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with it, it's the Clint Eastwood revisionist Western that came out in the early 90s. And to me, this is just the perfect movie. Everything about it is just spot on. The acting, the directing, the writing, it all is so just perfect. And the thing that I really take away from it is that a movie doesn't have to be complicated. It can be a simple story, but if you know what you want to communicate and you stay really focused on making sure that every element of your video, of your commercial, of your company story, whatever it is, if it's all focused towards that just one goal, then you can really do something special. And finally, number 5 on my list is The Wizard of Oz. To me, there's nothing that encapsulates what movies are about better than this movie. Just the inventiveness, the magic, the creativity. It's just so amazing to realize that this movie was made in the 1930s, and it's something that everyone grows up with. They all know The Wizard of Oz. That's because the story is so good, the filmmaking is so good, the performances, the music. It's just such a magical, joyful movie. It never fails to put me in a good mood. And so no list would be complete without including it on it. So that's my list of a videographer's favorite movies. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's a little different from my normal content, but hey, we can have fun sometimes too, right? So thank you very much for tuning in, and hopefully I will see you next time.